Hey everyone, welcome back to Sally Mama's Kitchen. Today I'm going to be showing you a Chinese classic, Mapo Tofu. I love ordering it at a Chinese restaurant or when I get takeout. But I'm going to show you a really quick and easy way to make this in your own home with just a couple of ingredients that, yes, you'll need to go to the Asian supermarket for, but once you get it, you'll be able to make this any day of the week. So let's get cooking. Okay, so to start, you're going to need about a pound or so of ground pork. I'm using lean ground pork, but you can use regular ground pork. Just trying to keep it a little more healthy for the family. You're also gonna need a pack of tofu. Keep in mind, when you buy your tofu, I like to buy a medium firm tofu. It doesn't need to be super firm, but you don't want the soft one because when you're frying it in the wok, it's gonna fall apart and you don't want that. You're also gonna need Szechuan peppercorns. You can pick this up in any Asian grocery store, and it keeps well in a glass jar, and it's just a dried spice, and you can use it for a while. You're also gonna need a couple cloves of garlic and a good knob of ginger, a green onion that you're just gonna really put on top. And this is the key, fermented red bean paste. Now my brand happens to only say oil bean paste, but I've seen it in the supermarket, and there's different brands and they call it fermented bean paste, red bean paste. They're pretty much all the same thing. So this is what it looks like. You know, buy a jar of this and then keep it in your fridge, and you can make Mapo tofu anytime you'd like. You're also gonna need some cornstarch, some dark soy, and some light soy. And yes, I buy it in industrial size. That's it. So to start, I'm gonna grind up my Szechuan peppercorns. I happen to have a mortar and pestle. Again, a very large mortar and pestle. If you don't have one, stick it in a Ziploc bag and beat the crap out of it. Can I swear? Okay, anyways. Here you go. Pour it in and just give it a good grind. Whoops! And you know, sometimes it'll fly out of your bowl, that's fine. So you wanna grind it up until it's slightly coarse and not too fine. Once you're done grinding it up, just pour it on out back into that bowl. Okay, and then next we just wanna prepare our garlic and ginger. Not hard, you're just gonna need a couple of cloves of garlic. I happen to have some big ones, small ones. I mean, I called for, I think it was like 5 or 6 cloves, but you know, give or take. Okay, once your garlic is all peeled, just give it a rough chop. And I mean rough, because you're gonna be pounding it to bits anyways. Unless you don't have a mortar and pestle or a way to grind this up, then just finely mince it. You're also gonna need about 1.5 inches of ginger. So I happen to have a knob like this. Best way and the safest way to peel ginger is with the spoon. Just run the edge of the spoon against the ginger and the skin should slide right off. And again, same thing with the ginger. I'm just looking for a rough chop on this one. So I find that the best way to do a rough chop is into coins and then into matchsticks and then into little dices. Okay, now that you have your chopped ginger and garlic, and this again is a step only if you're using a mortar and pestle, stick it in there and pound away. Okay, once your garlic and ginger is pretty much pulverized, you can set this aside. And then we're just gonna slice up a green onion. Make sure you give it a good wash, cut off the ends, and then just give it a quick slice. Okay, so the last thing we're gonna be chopping is tofu. Take your blocks out, and I'm gonna cut mine into thirds first. And then I'll cut this into 4s. And then again in 4s. And there you go, you just diced up a whole bunch of tofu. And you want it to be about 1/2 inch to 1 inch cube. So I'm gonna be making my Mapo tofu in a wok, but you can use a big frying pan. Just make sure it is fairly wide so that you're not gonna end up stewing and frying instead. Use a neutral oil. I happen to use canola oil, so I'm just gonna put maybe about 2 tablespoons or so in there. And I'm gonna use all my might and scrape out my ginger and garlic. And do note again, I am starting it in a cold wok. Now we're gonna turn it on high. And just let it become fragrant. Okay, so once everything starts to get fragrant, you can add in your Szechuan peppercorns. And just let that become fragrant. That only takes like not even 30 seconds. Now add in your ground pork. Now with any wok frying, you want to break up your meat as much as possible and spread it out. You spread it out real thin. It will fry rather than stew. So as you can see, the ground meat is almost cooked through. I'd say it's about 80 to 90% there. So that's a good time to now add the remaining ingredients. We want to start by adding in our fermented red bean paste. Now this doesn't actually give you the heat, it's just giving you the saltiness and the color that you want. The heat actually comes from the Szechuan peppercorns. And just give this a good mix. And this is also when you want to add in your seasoning. So just a bit of dark soy. And this is more for color rather than seasoning because dark soy is actually not as salty as light soy. And you don't need very much because, like I said, that fermented bean paste is actually quite salty. So just give this a couple minutes, like maybe 2-3 minutes, just so that everything comes together, all the flavors get well combined before adding in your tofu. And by that time, your pork will be fully cooked. So it's been about 2 minutes. We can now add in our tofu. Toss it in. And very carefully toss it through so that you're not breaking up your tofu. So after you put in your tofu, you toss it around for about 5 minutes or so. It's really just to heat the tofu through because you don't really need to cook it. Then it's time to make the gravy. So I have my cornstarch and cold water, and I'm just gonna make a slurry. And do use cold water, it's not gonna work with hot water. And then dump it on in. And within moments, you will see that it will thicken up nicely. Give you a nice gravy. Once it thickens up, you're done. We can turn off the heat. So the best way, and honestly the only way to eat Mapo Tofu, is over a bowl of white rice. It's so good. This is a bowl of comfort for me. It's like so good. Give it a try. You're gonna love it. Thanks for watching. If you like videos like these, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button and little bell so you get notified every time I put out a new video. For full recipes, you can always check out my website, and don't forget you can leave your questions and comments below. See you next time.